Hello everyone. Today we have with us Vasudev. He was my college friend and teammate also, and we had prepared for Amazon internship interviews together and went there together. And it was a very funny experience for me at least because usually he is one of the toppers in our college, and it used to happen like during exam last 1 or 2 hours they used to just chill and revise, and I used to like start reading in the last moments. But for our Amazon internship experience, it was the other way around. I was like chilling and relaxing and thinking like, okay, let's see what will happen. But Vasudev was the like totally into it, like continuously revising, going through all the videos. So I thought he'll be the best person to say share with you guys how in the last few days or few hours you can prepare and like try to give your best. Like although he didn't start preparing as early as me, but he was also like starting with DSA in the last 6 or 8 months, but he was able to learn and prepare well in the last moments. So, hi Vasudhev.
Yeah, hello Shashank. Yeah, thanks for the great introduction and sharing some of the experiences. So myself also there. So currently I'm working at Amazon as an SDE. So 2 years back when I gave internship, right? So I gave as an for the internship. I had given my interviews. So we had our online round. I had no intention of giving the online round, but I had to give give it because for the just for the experiences and to share with others. So basically, I had given the interview. I already had a couple of job offers, which used to be closer to the Amazon base pay. So I had not much interest in it, but till I wanted to know. I also thought that Amazon is not something that I can crack or something, so I did not have any intention of going to try for that. But later on, I gave my online round. It was not too difficult or something, though I was not in touch for last 2 months after I got my last offer. But still, I was able to solve the problems with all the previous experiences that I had, and the problems were also like one was easy question and one was medium level question. And then there were 20 MCQs during our batch. So 20 MCQs related to debugging the program, and then some questions related to C programming and all. Uh, but currently now the online round format has changed. Now they ask two DSA questions, and then they have behavioral questions. 20 to 20 many behavioral questions. Actually there are around 20 to 30 behavioral questions. And then once I gave my online round, I did have a hope that I would clear, because both of my questions were executed completely, and the 100% of test cases were passed. And then we got to know that I got to know that I have cleared my online round, like during my final semester exams. And then there were two rounds which were scheduled for the internship interviews, technical round one and technical round two. Even then, I did not wanted to go to Bangalore, because the interview is in Bangalore and I was studying in Hubli and my final exams were going on. But still, my friends asked me to just try, and then there were 2 days of gap for me for the exam. So, and I did not have any fear of exam or something. So I just wanted to go and give the interview and get the experience at least, so that in future, if sometime if I try, right, I know some amount of experience, and I can go and do some good work then. So yeah, so that's how I went for Bangalore for giving my couple of technical round interviews. In technical round one, there were two questions. One question was related to like traversal of a matrix and then finding some optimal value. It was not difficult or not easy, but it was a medium level question. It was more about applying your intuition and solving that problem. So I was asked to code that question. Though I was able to code the question, but I had made a mistake of, instead of starting my traversal from top right corner, I had started from top left corner, which had caused because of that. Though the logic was correct, I was not able to code it 100% correctly. And then the interviewer asked me a second question. It was a DP problem, but I started my solution with recursion, telling about how this can be solved by recursion. And then he asked me implement the recursion solution itself. He did not go to the DP solution. He did not ask me to optimize it, but he wanted to see if my coding skills, if I'm able to convert my logic into code. Because in the previous question, though I had my logic, I was not able to completely code it properly. So I was able to implement it, and I was able to walk him through how what I'm thinking, and how the code works. So he was happy with the second question, and then I got selected for the second round. And in second round, uh, as Shashank mentioned, right, it was like last 2 days, 3 days, I was completely into preparation of Amazon, and I was, even if 10 minutes of time in between, if I get, I used to put into my preparation. I used to ask the experiences of my friends, like what questions did they ask to you, and what answers did they give, right? And then my friend used to share a couple of questions. He had shared me one of the graph questions. I had not basically read about them previously. It was like top view of the tree, side view, and all those how to uh, traverse the views, right? So that I had no idea about that. Um, I came to know from one of my friend. He explained me like how it works and all. And fortunately, in the second round, my first question was related to top view,
Yeah,
basically a modulation to the top view of the traversal of the tree. So I was
yeah.
able to really solve it. And then
So
the
it was
second,
important that very good that we discussed like before even the interviews or between the rounds. We used to continuously discuss like in that one day we discussed like over 100 questions. I think like this one guy knows that problem. He used to discuss with everyone like okay, how was your experience? What all they are. So since it was on site, you were able to do lot of knowledge sharing, and that especially helped you with respect to one question which was very similar that you had got.
yeah. And
Yeah,
second question was related to rotated sorted array, finding an element in rotated sorted array. I had knew this problem, so I was able to basically I was able to give the proper solution in the first time itself, and both the questions I was able to code. So to be frank, my interviews were not too difficult or not too easy. It was a medium level. And questions I was able to code. That was one point. I mean, they at Amazon, right? We look at different data points. One is what are your problem solving skills? Are you able to produce a logic for it? And second, what we see is, are you able to convert that logic into code? That Amazon looks into. And there are some other two to three more data points that they check for, like what projects you have done and all those things, right? Though they don't have more weightage, but they still carry some weightage. So as I was able to solve four of the questions logically, three questions I was able to implement, and then even related to my projects, right? I had in the college I had worked for Samsung. So Samsung was collaborated with our college for our projects. So even there I got some amount of industrial experience while working on this project. So that also helped me when the interviewer asked me about like what projects I've and the difficulty of the projects and all. So that helped me to get the internship opportunity at Amazon. Yeah.
nice. So next we can move on to some tips and tricks suggestions that you have before the interview.
Yeah. So before the interview, so it was just like 2 days before we came to know that there is an interview for Amazon for the next two
Yeah,
technical
and
rounds.
also I remember we were preparing for interviews a little bit and for our exam a little bit, like half an hour, 1 hour. We used to keep switching, and somehow managed to do both.
Yeah, yeah. So it was though as we mentioned, right, it was final year, it was seventh sem of our college, and uh, no one is to take no one is to attend the classes so seriously or take exams so seriously. So it would be last moment preparation itself, even for the exams, at least for the seventh sem till sixth sem. Like I had put my all my effort in getting all my basics strong, or all the basic subjects strong. But at least for the seventh sem subjects, I still did not have proper knowledge of writing the exam without preparation on the last 2 days. It wouldn't be possible without preparation on last 2 days. But yeah, when I came to know that there is an interview within 2 days, right? So I did not know what to prepare or what to do. But one thing what I was clear about is what I have worked on last 8 months. So for 2 months I did not prepare anything. Like once I had the previous offer, I was like bit lazy, and I was like chilling out. So last
The
last
same thing even I did. I think for Amazon before the Amazon interview, got to know that in 2 days it's there. Just half an hour ago, I got to know that I was selected in Samsung internship. Like that's
Yeah,
why I was like just chilling, like okay, let's see what will happen.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, even at that point in time, internship pay, the pay which interns would get, right? It was like somewhere around 15 to 20K. And you already had a 50K offer for an internship. So it was like, it's a dream
Uh,
to have an internship with that much amount of stipend. Even that is bigger thing of having a 50K stipend. But yeah, similarly, even though my internship stipend was not so high, but I just wanted to attempt for the exam. So what I did is, even for my previous company, I had given it for an SDE role itself. So for that, I had given a good amount of preparation at that point in time. For last 1 year in my college, so we had APS course for 6 months in our sixth semester. So in that sixth semester itself, whatever competitive programming I have done or whatever contest I have done, I have given only in sixth semester, not before that or not after that. So I have given like online rounds over there, and then had prepared for some of the questions. And our lecturer also used to teach different type of questions. Though we used to not solve everything, but at least we had an idea that how advanced data structures and algorithms, right? What are the different things and how do we approach them? So logically, I had a good understanding on all those things. And then during my previous interview for the other company for SDE role, I had gone through the cracking the coding interview book. So from there, I came to know how to approach an SDE interview or how to solve questions for that. So just before Amazon giving interview, so what I did is, I just went into YouTube and saw like what are the frequently asked questions, or what are the top questions that are asked at Amazon. So I got a list of 50 questions, 50 to 100 questions. And then I had my notes which was prepared for my APS course and previous interviews. So I had all this ready. And uh, throughout the journey from Hubli to Bangalore, even then we were in the preparation process itself. We
yeah.
used to go. I used to go through all the videos, and then Shashank was there along with me, and there were two to three friends along with us. So we used to just discuss different questions. All those 50, I think at least 40 to 45 questions in those 50 we had discussed. And Shashank, I think he had spent all his last 2 and a half years in competitive programming. He had a better idea on how to give interviews and how to solve questions, right? So Shashank had helped us a lot in basically understanding these questions. So even in the last 2 days also, I spent a lot of time with Shashank understanding like different approaches or optimizations that we do, right? I went with those. I read all through all these questions, and then I prepared for that. Hands-on, coming to hands-on, I don't have any problem in putting I don't feel a lot of problem in putting a logic into code, because that have been doing for last 2 and a half years. But just the thing is, I did not do it faster way. So because competitive programming brings you that the solving of that problem in very quick time, right? But I did not have that. Though I have logic, even for getting the logic, I used to take some time, and then converting that also I used to take some time. So if others would have solved it in half an hour, I used to solve it in 1 hour. So I did not have problem with that. And then went to interviews, and then everything went well. So that's how I landed up in Amazon.
Right. So, like one lesson I had from your experience, right? Like once I got to know that you were selected, I think from all the participants from our college, from 10 or 12, I think you were the only one who got selected. I was like totally happy. Like, okay, if he has done, then I will definitely do it. I'll just have to stick to him and ask how he did and everything. So one learning I had was you're preparing this cracking the coding interview and top interview questions from YouTube. So that was a learning for me. Okay, although problem solving and speed matters, going through the standard questions is also very important. And it is a fact that there are some hard questions which you should have done before. It's not very easy to do it in the interview. So that was the learning that I had, and I was also able to prepare accordingly and have that confidence.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't suggest anyone to not prepare without competitive programming, or not
Mm.
having solving lot of questions, right? They have to do that,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
without that, I mean, so what people think is, though I landed it into internship, but it
Mm.
is difficult for you to get convert from an intern to a full-time employee. So
Mm.
at some point in time in your life, you have to put effort to learn the things which you haven't learned. So
Mm.
it is important for actually to go through and solve lot of questions, because at least now the software industry interview space has become very competitive. There are many companies, and every companies they have raised their bar in their interviews and asking questions. So at the time when me Shashank were giving, so it was still not a huge buzz then, because there were offline interviews which were going on. We did not have this COVID situation. So online interviews, we haven't heard of online interviews till the third year, or in mid of fourth year, right? We did not know how how big companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, how do they hire. We even did not think of all these things, because we were only concentrated on offline interviews. But now the game has entirely changed. So every company is going via online, and so there is a lot of opportunities for students now to basically get into these companies if they have put good amount of work in their last 2 and a half years. So I don't only say like competitive programming is important, but along with that, you should have good understanding in your core subjects, operating system, databases, and then OOPS concepts. Because all these things, right? When you come into industry, what knowledge we have gained in colleges wouldn't be only helpful for you for 5% of it. But even knowing that 5% will help you to understand the next 95% of concepts which in which you have to work in real time, right? So yeah,
Right.
so basically you should be good with competitive programming, or at least standard algorithms and data structures, having a understanding of it and then solving those problems. That is very important during the interview processes, right? So don't worry about how my introduction goes on and all those things, because no one is going to deep dive into your resume. At least the interviewer, all the deep dive or all the shortlisting will happen before you enter the interview. And once your resume is shortlisted, only thing is they look for a couple of data points. And at Amazon or any other company, right, they need some of the data points from each of the candidate which they want to hire. And if you are having those data points, it doesn't matter for them like from what background you are coming from, what college you are coming from. It all doesn't matter for them. So they have certain data points, like I said, about problem solving and then converting the logic into code, and then how you are able to write the code cleanly, and how are you able to optimize some of the solutions, right? All these data points, they have standard data points for SD1s, and that is how they assess you in the interviews. Even if you have, even I do only have 3 star in CodeChef, so I don't have any higher ratings or something. But someone has 6 star, but even he will not be able to crack it, or I will not be able to make it unless we have the data points which Amazon requires. The same
Mhm.
applies for every other company. But yeah, now the space has become very competitive, so it is recommended to have high ratings. But at the same time, I have seen from my juniors, I have experienced that people are now getting solutions via different platforms, and then they are just pasting it and then running it. So whatever you do, whatever ratings you have, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, you should be prepared for what all these basic things and all the standard things you should know, so that you will be able to crack the interview.
So, lastly, do you want to share a bit about how was your internship onboarding experience and benefits and work from home experience now?
So I was only one in my friend circle who got into Amazon. So, and I was a kind of introvert candidate who wanted to be in a group, and what others does, right? I just want to follow them and just get into the company. But it was very difficult for me during the onboarding process, because I expected Bangalore to be my work preference location, and then I got Mumbai, which was like surprising to me, because no, all my friends who used to go to internship to Bangalore itself, there was no one who is going to end up in Mumbai. And then it was very difficult for me mentally for that. But Amazon had a great onboarding experience, right from the point from my home location till Mumbai. There was not even one problem for me. So they took care of everything, like the cabs, the ticket bookings, and the hotels, everything. So, and then when I had to go for Pune for my first day first day onboarding program, and then for the second day I had to go to Mumbai. And then in Mumbai, like, we stayed in a five-star hotel. It was a new experience for us, though. I had a bit amount of hesitation, like I landed up into Amazon, because but still I had doubts in back of my mind, like, am I fit to this, or I can able to do this or not. And
Mhm.
first corporate life, right? And 2 days into office, I was very feared about like how I am going to do and all those things.
Like I
uh,
remember, I'd shared you one quotation that I'd come across. True imposters don't feel imposter syndrome. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so that's how. So it was a bit difficult for me initially, like, during an entire internship process, right? uh, I had to face a lot of difficulties because everything was new. I hadn't worked on cloud technologies, so AWS cloud was new to me. And even I had to work in Java, though I have worked though I have learned Java in the college, but it's not at all a match to what at
Mm.
industry level what we do. And then there
Mm.
were different types of things that I had to learn, and I had to do it quickly, and then I have to implement it. So in colleges and all, right, what challenge we don't face is, we do implementation till the level we want results, and whatever the results we get, that is the highest amount of results that we show. But industry doesn't work in that way. They want to have 100% solution, and that should solve our customer problems. So all these things, so it added more discipline into me. During colleges we don't work usually for 12 to 13 hours, though we had worked. I mean, couple of us in our team had worked, but still the discipline of working with passion and all those things, right? In internship I got to learn all those things. And then I was able to successfully complete my project. And then my managers, my mentors, and my teammates were happy with what performance that I had done. And then I got into a full-time role. And I had worked in Mumbai for 2 months. Then there was initially it was offline, so I got to meet some of my teammates. So I knew, at least I knew like how their faces look, right? At least even when I want to communicate in work from home setup, I knew, at least I thought that I have built some connection with them. And then I used to work. But yeah, later 4 months was very difficult when I was working from home initially, because I did not get lot of I used to get support, but it was difficult for me to ask support with my teammates, because I was working in work from home, and there was no people to interact for me. But later on, everything, after internship, after all my learnings, and then all, when I started as a full-time employee, I had confidence that I can do it. And then like last 1.5 years, it's been going good for me here.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So I think, yeah, that's all we have planned for this session. It was great to have you with us. Thank you, Vasudha.
Yeah, thank you, Shashank.